my goodness.
Little bumpy.
Hundredths of a second. That's less than the blink of an eye.
BMW FIBT World Championships, the final run for the two-man bobsleigh competition at an overcast Winterberg in Germany. But the rain and the snow that were forecast for today, thankfully, have blown through. And it looks as though the fourth deciding run may well be free of weather intervention. Hello, everybody. I'm Martin Haven. Trackside with me, John Morgan. And John, we've got a great competition on hand for the medals.
Well, not for the gold, but for the second, third, fourth, fifth placing, all pretty tight. And the competition, well, this track, you know, opened in 1977. This 15 curves, it's short, you know, and it's real slow up top of the track. And the animation here will show you the Omega curve, curve 9, the labyrinth. Those are the three pivotal parts of the track. G-forces, you can get up into 5 Gs on the bottom part of the track. But here at the start, it's real important at the start to get in, get settled. We're going to have some great pictures of the start. But down there, they got curve 0 down here. This was added about 8 years ago when they redid the track. And the curve 1, it's real slow up top around Omega. There's an uphill section between 2 and 3 here in the exit of Omega. And, you know, heavy emphasis on no steering, quiet hands as you come in uphill. And then down at curve 9, this is where things start to really rocket. G-forces get up into the 3-4 Gs. Heavy emphasis on speed. When you deal with speed, you deal with aerodynamics. And you want the sled to go straight, take advantage of the high speeds into the three-quarter labyrinth. Three-quarter labyrinth, as you come into this out of 10, a lot of pressure on the suspension, the articulation of the sleds. And then this three-quarter labyrinth, you can lose a lot of speed coming out of here late 13 to 14. And in the finish, you go uphill. And when you go uphill, you can lose a lot of time by any kind of a mistake at the bottom.
Well, this morning in blustery and drizzly conditions, we thought that our track record would be safe from attack. But Francesco Friedrich and Torsten Margis, the leaders, set a new track record this morning.
Well, first of all, it was the young German Lochner and Blum. These two guys average age 22 in their first world championships. And Lochner, who comes from pedigree of bobsledders, he shocked everybody and posted second best time of the run. And he came down, he put himself in a bronze medal position. This is a big surprise, this kid right there. Not a surprise, though, Oskars Melbardis, Thomas Drieskens. Look at the way this sled came up out of the blocks. Didn't have a very good start time. We finally saw a chink in their armor. These guys won the World Cup two-man title. They own the start record on every track they've been on. But this year, on this event, this day, they weren't as good at the start, and they're only in second, and they're not far away. Third place isn't far away. But this guy, Francesco Friedrich and Greg Marcus, oh, wow. They had an unbelievable start. They had an unbelievable downtime. In fact, the downtime was so good, they broke the track record. He has distanced himself from the field. He's the youngest guy ever to win a world championship 2 years ago, and he could back it up today. Looks like he's got at least one hand on that trophy right now.
And he's got a 3/4 second advantage. Realistically, barring a crash, it's about Melbardis, Lochner, Bert Hefty, Yun Jong-won of Korea, Ugis Zalims of Latvia, and maybe Rico Page of Switzerland as well, battling for the crumbs from the table. Stephen Holcomb, Chris Spring down towards the tail of the field. The 21st time, Justin Cripps, the first of those who gets cut. Loic Kosterger, France, and Matthias Lutia, Poland, the last that will go through into the final deciding heat. So from 33 starters, we're down to 20.
Weather? It's weird. The weather here changes. The blink of an eye. We've had sun, sprinkling of rain, you know, but the crowd, large.
Matthias Luthi and Loic Kosterg, tied for 19th after 3 heats, will go as the first 2 sleds on the ice in our 4th final and deciding run of the BMW FIBT World Championships for two-man bobsleigh. And 22-year-old, as he was then, Francesco Friedrich, the youngest world champion, comes 2 years later to Germany to defend the title he won in Switzerland. Our first sled in the last run of the two-man World Championships for this 2015 season is Matthias Luthi of Poland. He's got Krzysztof Tilkowski behind him. It's a young team, still learning the business.
Good size in both of them. Like most of the athletes in the field, they got track and field backgrounds. He's pretty consistent. First run 18th, 20th, 20th. Start 5:28. They're best of the competition.
The weather is probably as good now as it's been after Friday's 2 runs in wind and snow and a bit of drizzle and a gust of wind or 2 this morning.
There's that curve 3 to 4 uphill. 4, real important not to tap out of there. He did pretty good, stay off that ball. Poland, believe it or not, in 1963, they had 43 two-man teams in the competition on a natural ice track in Poland. So this country does have a good, rich background in the sport. They're just starting to emerge. Impressive recruiting that they have going on. Held the FIBT Congress a couple years ago in Graz.
Speed's a little higher than in his 3rd run, so conditions are helping out. The track, the ice has been very good all week.
Hit hard there right at the finish line. Ducked his head for trying to gain another aerodynamic 100th of a second available to you at the finish line.
And that's his best run of the competition, 56.35. We will see many faster runs probably in the final 20, but he's in the top 20 and finishes the way he wants to.
This is down at curve 10. Watch the line here now. See, he's down below where most of the lines are. Now he's going to have to climb back up here. He did the same thing in the 3rd run. And look at the runner tips. Now he's got to steer late to get off that high line that he's on. And steering, even at high speed, you don't want to steer unless you have to. This is the exit of curve 10 into 11, 12, 13, the 3-corner labyrinth combination on the bottom part of the track.
Well, Maciej Poland may end up last in the top 20, but 13 other teams didn't even get that far. Lloyd Kosberg and Roman Heinrich, the French crew, were tied with the Poles after 3 trips down this 1,330-meter ice canal. Let's see if they can move up a spot. Their runs have been getting consistently worse. 12th in the first heat. They're in a window of opportunity weather-wise, which really helped them out.
Eric Allard, 1995, France won a bronze medal at the World Championships here, which was a great achievement for French bobsledding. 1999, the French went on to win the World Championships in 4-man bobsledding, and 2 of the guys that did that are at the top of the track as the coaches for the French team now, Bruno Manjean and his brakeman Max Robert. So it's nice to see the French starting to re-establish themselves.
Still in the red, that means he's behind Matthias Luthi, 1700s now, from 600s behind at the start. So this is really not the run that the French wanted. However, they can't drop out of the top 20. No one else outside the 20 gets a 4th and final run.
This is a good finish for Poland. They'll be very happy.
Poland 19th, France 20th potentially, unless somebody else has major dramas.
Bruno Manjean on the left also won a bronze medal at the '98 Olympic Games in Nagano. Heyday of French bobsledding.
Last time a British bobsleigh won a medal as well in the Olympic Games.
Yeah,
that was a tie.
They tied to the bronze medal. Look at late. Watch the sled flop around here and watch the spray come up. This is in the Kreisel. A little tap there. Now watch them straddle the blue line. That's good. Look at the brakeman's head buried in the back right next to the lower spine of the driver. There's Luke. The season is over, but we'll see him in the 4-man.
2 of our 20 sleds down in this final run. Next up is Chris Spring of Canada. 3 Canadian sleds started, only 2 made the cut, and it wasn't the 2 we might have expected. Justin Cripps, 21st, missed out by 200ths of a second after a wretched day 1.
Yeah, but Cripps, the story there is he drew number 1, and that was like 40 or 50 hundredths disadvantage.
A really tough year this year for Chris Spring.
Tough season for all the North American men bobsledders. There's only Nick Cunningham bronze medal in the 2-man on Lake Placid, and Cripps a bronze medal in Koenigsee are the only 2 medals American men or Canadian men garnished on the World Cup circuit this year.
How different the post-Olympic year is. Last year, worst result for Chris Spring was a 12th place. This year, his 2 best results have been 12th places.
The Springer.
He's opening up an advantage over our current leader, Lloyd Kosberg of France. And there's not many times I'm going to say that sentence.
No, it's the Matthias
Luthi, Poland. Exactly right.
should be half seconds. Again, it's the year of the Olympics. This is the year we're going to have a year where you're going to rebuild your program. This is it. If you want to expect that. 132.7. We'll probably see sleds 133 high.
At least he'll be in the 34s, might even go quicker. Track seems to be speeding up. 56.07, that's 2/10 better than his last run down.
That's a good sign for the track.
And his worst run, the second on Friday, was a 56.80, 7/10 slower than this one.
Here's the camera number 10. This is a hypermotion, 700 frames a second. Boy, it tells you everything. Look at the way the sled shakes a little bit. That's the articulation, the suspension. Look at the lines. He's up there probably right on the maximum line to have great speed into the bottom part of the track, 11, 12, and 13. The outlets where you get off the curve, the take-ons where you get on, and Chris Spring just did it right.
Chris Spring leads for Canada. And there is Derek Plug on the left of your shot.
Beautiful.
Sunny smiles. Hey, the sun is
Beautiful
coming
weather.
out now. Let's pull the shades down. Up comes Stephen Holcomb, the 2012 2- and 4-man world champion. He's in 17th place with Carlo Valdez behind him. Again, a tough first day of this World Championships on Friday for Holcomb.
Well, he had the 28th best start time, a 5:43 in the second run. That might have been attributed to a big gust of wind that came in, but look at him in the third run. 10th best time. That is to get in the field. He went from 21 to 17 all week long in practice. He's been amazing everybody with his speed on the bottom part of the track. And his break with Carlo Valdez, javelin thrower from UCLA. He's improved every week out here in his first year in the sport. Holcomb's made a big mistake there in the extra 4.
1200s of a lead over Chris Spring. It's opened up a fraction.
That mistake in 4 might cost him though.
May stop him moving any further up the order. 99.8 is the best speed out of the Kreisel. 99.7 is close. And Springer 132.7 at the bottom. The gaps come down to 1100s. Might be in single digits.
He should have 133. Yes, he does. This is what Holcomb's been doing on this track, but just gives up so much time at the start. There it is. Didn't beat Spring. 56.08.
Spring's trip was quicker on that last run.
Holcomb didn't get anywhere near his 55.89 he had in the previous heat. I think that had a lot to do with the exit of curve 4, which is
2100 slower down the track this time.
Right here. This has been a nemesis for a lot of people. That little tap there. Now watch the run. The sled's got to come this way. Now the back ends of the skid. That's steering, friction. That's where Holcomb wasn't as good as he was in the third run.
Well, Holcomb's still a crowd favorite. Olympic champion, world champion. Not having a good time in the 2-man, but he'll be back next week in the night train to try and win 4-man medals. So a very downbeat family, the bobsleigh fraternity today, as Russian coach Alexander Shlevlovsky passed away very unexpectedly and suddenly last night. Alexander Kazyanov and the rest of the Russian team electing to continue competing, as everybody is here, in his memory.
He's a great friend, great sportsman. Again, a great friend, and we're all distraught over this news. And Martin, I suggest we just don't make the call here in his honor. Alexander, your driver just put in a good run for you. We're going to miss you.
55.88, way quicker than his worst run, which was the second trip on Friday. That's a full second quicker than his worst, and that's how badly the weather has affected this race.
Well, he's back in 5th, 16th place, and this is the guy who finished 4th in Sochi last year at the Olympics. And Look at these lines. Ooh, looks this back end is skidding there. Is he? No, didn't look bad. Good run all the way around. But boy, the heavy hearts for not only the Russians, but the whole bobsleigh fraternity and family.
Alexander Kasyanov leads for Russia, 5 down, 15 to come in Winterberg.
Aus Kanada kommen Nick Poloniado und Brian Martin. Achtung bitte, der Start ist frei.
One of the big stories in this two-man bobsleigh World Championship has been the emergence as lead Canadian of World Cup rookie Nick Poloniado, with Brian Barnett adding a little bit of extra vim on the back of the sled. Poloniado really seized an opportunity he was given by the weather on the first day on Friday to drive himself into 13th place, 15th now in the final run of his first ever World Championships after 2 years on ice.
But he had to push without the push bar in the front in the 30 because the push bar wouldn't come up. And so he had a very, very disadvantaged 9th best start, 13th best start, 21st best start in the third run.
But it all went away below the Kreisel. He was good down to there, but then it just got a little too fast for him.
Now he's got a 900s lead on the Russian at the bottom. And, you know, again, for him to emerge as Canada won. Again, Cripps, your draw at the World Championships, you draw the number you want according to your World Cup ranking.
Down to 300s. The Russian 94.6 is 94.0 for Poloniado. This is going to be close.
Again, Nick Cripps was the 7th ranked World Cup driver. Nobody had drawn number 1. He went up, drew number 1, and that cost him a half second because it was snow and wind. He never recovered, didn't make the final 20 sleds. 1500s back.
He's still going to be in front of world champion and Olympic champion Stephen Holcomb. He is the best Canadian in the competition.
And without that third run, without that mishap at the start, with the start bar, push bar not coming up, he might have been even better. So what a great World Championships for this guy.
Well, that's a heck of a memory for him for all sorts of reasons today.
Well, it's about lines and, boy, not hitting. This is out of 8 to 9. Just a little tap there sets you up at a curve 9 where, you know, that's a mistake he's got right there. That happened up in the exit of curve 7 and 8.
Yeah. Left him late onto 9, late off means you're in trouble all the way down the labyrinth. But that was a good run from Nick Poloniado.
Great result.
Didn't panic when the push bar didn't go down, just pushed on the cow. Same as you do when you're moving the sleds around. He is in second place. Alexander Kasyanov of Russia leads as Nick Cunningham comes to the line.
Do your job. Let's go.
He is the last of our US, last of our North American sliders. He's only 14th place.
Good. Good.
Talk about a tough season for the North American men.
Go, best for the weekend. Let's go.
Sir. One of the two medals, as I mentioned, the North Americans have won on the World Cup circuit for sure. He won a bronze medal at the first event in Lake Placid, but since then, it's no results. But yesterday, of course, Taylor and Sherelle Garrett won the gold medal for women's bobsledding. First time ever that anybody other than a German had won a World Championship gold medal on this track.
First American woman ever to win a World Championship as well in the ice sliding disciplines.
Other than the women's bobsledding gold medal that Jill Bakken won in Salt Lake, but still, record history was made yesterday. And boy, Myers-Taylor emerges a great driver besides the fact that she's an unbelievable athlete.
Fast and so consistent. 4 runs with 500ths of a second apart.
It's pretty good.
This is great run from Nick Cunningham too.
Top 14, yeah.
Finally, he's got the two-man working the way he wants.
He only wants to put a couple good heats together. I think he did it today.
He might move up a couple of spots here. 55.96. His worst run was a 56.97. That's a full second faster than when he ran into the weather on the first trip of this 4.
And we'll see him later on in the team competition. USA has 2 teams in the event. And look at the head slap here. A little late tap. It pushes him away from the take-on a little bit. We'll see it here. Does he hit before he gets on the take-on?
Just got away with it.
But he starts going uphill there. Still good speed on the bottom, Nick. Good job.
Nick Cunningham looks like he's happy with that trip. He has the lead of the race.
Brakeman Alex Harrison, another one of the decathletes in the field. Lots of decathletes in this sport.
Alexei Stulnev of Russia, 13th after 3 of 4 heats in this World Championship, second of our Russian athletes. And in fact, they sort of ended up in reverse order of what we would have expected. We would have expected Alexander Kazyanov to be best, ahead of Alexei Stulnev, and Maxim Adrianov maybe in the third of the Russian sleds. However, it's the other way around. And that's why 2 ninth-place runs in shocking variable weather conditions. He definitely lucked in with 14th start draw.
Russians, again, they're sliding with such a heavy heart. But this guy was a surprise. He was also last week, he did pretty good early. In Sochi, he was doing pretty good too. I think he emerged as the best Russian in 2-man.
Kazyanov's definitely a man who prefers the 4-man. Some drivers just get on better with the 2-man. Not many. Rennie Spies would be a great example. Matthias Höpfner as well. Guys like Max Arndt, for instance, really thrive in the 4-man. Good speed there, 100 kilometers an hour. That's the third fastest we've seen. Not quite as quick as Cunningham. Not quite as quick as Kazyanov, his teammates either.
It's like he's got enough. Doesn't have the speed that Cunningham had, but this should be enough to be the leader.
It's going to be close.
1000. She lost a little bit back to Cunningham. Alex Harrison, so the Russians are in the lead.
He was 600s in front of Cunningham after 3 trips. Opens it up by another 400s on this one, so Stulnev just crept away a fraction.
Still one more Russian sled to go. Watch him come down a little bit. Now, question is, how high does he go back up? Look at the aerodynamics. Now, that's pretty consistent. But consistency might mean he had to steer. And boy, if you don't have to steer, that's the best
Comes up
strategy.
High and late on the exit. That makes the crossover a little skiddy. So Alexei Stulnev still with work to do to be perfect down this track. Not many people are perfect down this track. Well, next up, big day for Lamin Dean, the 33-year-old from Manchester, a Grenadier Guardsman in the British Army. Simeon Williamson behind him, 2-time Summer Olympian, shot put, discus, javelin, hammer, 100-meter sprinter.
Looks like a linebacker, too. I mean, second row, look at him run. I mean, it's a big man. First year in the sport.
If you're a rugby player and he's carrying, he's getting through 5:21.
Bad mistake there, though. Still, that's speed 62.5. That's not bad.
But Lamin Dean needs a top 12 finish here to try and guarantee more funding for the British Bobsleigh Federation.
Lamin Dean had a great run going to the third heat till 9 to 10. So we'll watch to see if he can get through 9 to 10.
Behind Stulnev.
Well, that's because he crushed the wall before the 0 curve. See if he still has a chance.
Needs 94. He hasn't got 94.
It's that mistake up in curve 0.
Come on, Lamin, you've got to hold it together. 99.6 is close to it.
Much better run through 9:10 than he had last time.
That might bring him a little closer to the line. Rocky in the 12-13 transition, though.
He's going to fall back in 2 spots. So
3 spots. He's going to be down into 3rd place.
7, best time of the run. It wouldn't have been that way. Look at the coaches. He just got crushed. Johnson on the right.
12th place after the first heat, moved up to 10th after the second. Well, the 10th fastest runner, and he knows that's really heartbreaking. He just needed a really neat and tidy drive.
Boy,
and
he
the
had
first
it all
corner.
Going. Watch it now. Look at the drive lines here. He maybe ran too far.
No,
They're
he's
still on the drive lines. Le Mans just couldn't get a hold of the D-ring in time.
Didn't get the D-rings. He was snapping the handle in.
It's 2,500s there.
And that, unfortunately, has dropped them down into 3rd place with 11 still to come. Big support there for Francesco Friedrich. We won't see him for another 20 minutes. He'll be last to go. Last of our Russians on the fringes of the top 10. 700s out of a top 10 result in his first ever World Championships. Maxim Adrianov, he turned 27 on Friday, gave himself a great present with 6th fastest time in the first heat. Wow, that was some speed he showed.
Yeah, but he also went in that window of opportunity, the 18th position, where we saw a lot of sleds that made us say, wow, at the bottom. Look at, you know, their personal bests in a World Cup or World Championships. That was his PB.
800ths of a second in front of Alexei Stulnev as he sat down. He's already in the red. Stulnev really had a good run.
Russia against Russia.
Maybe Adrianov is feeling the pressure a little. He's dropping behind.
Yeah, but he didn't have too good. Run 2, run 3. 16 were the 14th and 12th best times compared to 6 in the first run. So he was in that crowd of window of opportunity. About 15 back to 25 or 30 sleds.
Speed's not bad, but he's already slipped 4 spots.
He's going to fall back maybe behind Lamondine, which would be great.
He's back in front of the Brits. Chasing down Nick Cunningham. He doesn't get him. 700s in front of Lamondine. He lies third, and Alexei Stulnev and Kirill Antuk still lead for Russia.
Well, again, here's another one of those athletes in that window of opportunity in the first heat when it wasn't blowing. And here it is, the entrance to Kreisel. A little skid there. See if he hits the, he's above the blue lines. You should be straddling those blue lines right in the middle of the, he was above it, and that related to the entry into the curve where he was skidding. Cost him some time.
Alexei Stulnev leads for Russia halfway through the 4th and final heat in the BMW FIBT two-man bobsleigh World Championships here in Germany. A moment of quiet and then lots of noise before the start for Nico Walter and Marco Hubenbecker. This young man from the Altenburg Bog Club burst onto the World Cup this season. Alexei Stulnev on the right and Kirill Antuk on the left, leading for Russia. 10 sleds in the field still to come, including this one.
10, 6, finish.
They had a little weather hassle. Watch how big Holcomb is. Watch his arms. 6'7". I mean, he's such an awesome technique getting in the sled. 5:22 start. That's pretty much what they've been doing. In fact, that's their best start of the 4 heats.
By a 1/10 of a second better than the first heat when they ran into the wind and the snow. And that's what crucified their World Championships. The first heat where they were only 16th.
Great speed, velocity into the first curve, 62.9. That's Huckenberger, 6'7".
And Walter has come within an ace of winning a two-man race in his World Cup debut season. He's been in the silver medal, the bronze medal position. He's won in 4-man, and he could be a medal contender next weekend for sure.
He was really disappointed after that first run yesterday, but he wasn't the only athlete in the field disappointed.
Yeah, about 2/3 of them were disappointed, and 1/3 were jubilant.
Yeah, a lot of
furrowed
faces.
brows.
Not even the fastest time of the run, though, 55.91.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've had... No, he is the fastest, just quicker than Alexei Stulnev, 55.91. Who's been faster then? 55.88, that was Stephen Holcomb. No, Alexander Kazanov.
Kazanov, yeah. Crossover. It's tricky. Big curves, bottom part of the track. He looked perfect.
Started second fastest, came down second fastest, but he leads now with 9 sleds to go. I think next weekend he'll be looking for some retribution here in Winterberg. 3 Latvian sleds in the top 9. So those maroon and white flags will be waving vigorously. First of our Latvians then is 21-year-old Oskars Melbardis. Varis Leiboms behind him.
Another decathlete. 6,400 points. As a junior, and they took him right from the track, right to the front seat of a bobsled.
Stole him from the track coaches. 5:10, and look at that, that's another great start. 1100s quicker than their worst in the wind on Friday.
Watch out if this guy ever figures it out. It's only his 3rd year driving. They didn't go again. He didn't spend any time as a brakeman. They put him right in the front seat. A lot of times you see like Melbardis coming up who's challenging for a silver. He was 4 or 5 years in the back as a brakeman before they put him up in the front seat.
Well, Melbardis is rocketing away from Nico Walter. He was 2,700s up after the first heat. He's now 42.
That's related to the start. He'll give some back here in the bottom.
99.2. He's not going to give much back. The German sled was no quicker than that.
Could be his best run of the 4. Good lines there. 11, 12, 13.
No, it is coming back. 22, 2600.
Single digits. 18. No, it's okay. See you guys next week. Saunders Cruises looks on. You know, this guy, when he figures out how to drive, you won't see him lose 20 hundredths on the bottom part of the track like he just did.
Only 500 slower than Nico Walter, who does know this track from his luge days and as a bobsledder.
Yeah, but he crushed Nico at the start. Posted the best start. And big athlete, this kid in the front seat. Curve 4, it's a nemesis. That little tap right there. Now the sled comes to the middle. Big turning in 5. Curve 9. It's not easy to get through this ice canal, and the back end's not going in the right direction. He's got a skid going here into 10, high-speed part of the track.
Oskars Melbardis of Latvia, your race leader. And now the junior world champion from Germany, Richard Oelsner, 20 years old, been driving 1 season. Eric Franke, his brakeman, 1 season. This is their first season. Came out, smoked the junior world field, and in the first heat was second, just 0.04 of a second off the lead from 30th in the start draw.
Second, 15th, 11th. The second run, the third run, that tells you that's reality. That's where they should be. Second, when he went 30th in the first run, that's that window of opportunity when the skies cleared, the wind stopped blowing, and this kid came down in second place. Everybody was shocked, including, I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
His coach was long and couldn't believe it.
Lange nearly had a corridor of excitement, I think. It was a long wait for Oelsner to make his debut.
Look at that skid into Kreisel.
But great speed, 94.4.
Yeah, he'll lose some of that. You know, remember, he's just started driving in October. He's 20 years old. Germans gone young. Big emphasis on youth. Of course, the Germans had a very disappointing Olympic season.
Boy, are they turning that round in a hurry. Their new generation are stellar.
Yeah, but they had to come out and make a statement this year. The German media was all over them.
Yeah.
9th best time of the run. And, you know, as expected, this kid finishes top 10. He beat Nico Walter.
Yep.
So there's going to be 4 Germans in the top 10 here.
Yep. Well, he lies in second place with 7 to go. First World Championship appearance. First time we've ever met this kid. He's been racing in Europa Cup.
There's the skid into Kreisel. This is not how to do it right there. That might be the worst line we've seen so far in this run for sure. And the skidding, look at the back end of the sled, almost up in the air. And he's trying to hit that blue line, and he's above it. And that means more steering. That's why he lost his placing.
Well, this is his 6th race weekend. How freaky is that? Exactly right, exactly right. Well, another man who's got a few more trips down the ice than that is Rico Peter. Won the 2-man race in Sochi, earned himself and his brakeman Bro van der Zijde $16,000 of prize money.
And he crashed the next day in the 4-man.
Yeah. Well, he's been on the podium before here in Winterberg, behind teammate Bert Hefty.
Had a breakout season. You know, he's definitely my vote as the top breakout season of the year.
3/10 up on our current leaders.
And he's close to the next 3 places. He's close.
This is where we get into battling for the medals. He's not worried about Melbardis. He's looking at trying to make up a 10th on the guys in front.
Gonna have to be perfect. He had a curve 4. Watch 3 right here. Oh, he's on that wrong side. Let's see if he taps out of 4. No. That's what he needs. This Cydia sled flies at the bottom part of the track. Should be.
Leads coming down, only 1500s. Latvians were 93.8, so he's got more speed, and this is where it starts to accelerate for him.
Well, that's because he had a deficient start compared to the Latvians. Here he goes. This is where he starts to put the afterburners on. Watch the speeds at the bottom. He could be a high 133, maybe even get 134 speed down here.
He's going to take
flying.
the lead.
133.6. Yeah, you expect it out of Rico Peter, and he just delivered.
There's a nice run from Rico Peter, 55.90.
Still a rush.
Man is faster, 55. No, 9.6. No, hang on, that's the start. Who was the
55.88 was the Russian.
Yeah, Kazyanov. So Kazyanov, if it was only on 1 heat, on the final run, Kazyanov would still be our leader.
Well, this is the Cydia sleds. Look at the line now. We've seen some people come down and go back up. This looks pretty consistent. Look at the runner tips. Just a minute steering here in the end to get himself down. Good speed, 133.6. Look at the brakeman, and he's buried in there. Now we follow up to the exit of that curve 10. Look at his eyes, barely above the cowling. That's precision right there.
Fraction late, fraction of a skid might have robbed him of a couple of hundredths, and that might have an effect on what happens next. 6 sleds to go. Rico Peter leading in sunshine for Switzerland. Ugi Salims now, another big story. 3rd after the first heat. Sensation, the young Latvian.
9th best start, all 3 heats. So you should be 5:17, 5:18. Everybody's getting better up there. 5:14. Boy, the Latvian coaches said, hey, the only chance you got to get better at the start. Boy, that they just get better at the start. 63.1 start speed. He won a silver medal the first time we saw him at St. Moritz. He tied Beat Hefty. Everybody said, where'd you come from? Didn't go to Sochi. And came out here, was in top 3 position here in the first run.
Well, former brakeman, the 29-year-old fireman, comes into bobsleigh from tug of war, that traditional sport for supplying bobsleighers.
Still at 5 to 5.
Good speed as well, same as Rico Peter. 0.05 of a second in front.
He's got the same speed. He should stay at 5. It's at 3. It's going to go right to the 100.
Wow, 133,
right.
one's not
Doesn't have the
enough.
speed.
He'll be in red at the line, and oh, 100 of a second.
Latvia's got at least 2 sleds in the top 6.
Wow.
100. Okay,
yeah.
we aren't done with that 100 thing yet. There's 5 sleds to go. We could see a medal won and lost by 100%.
We surely could. Ugi Salims of Latvia sneaks the lead away from Rico Peter with 5 sleds to go. Look at the smile. He doesn't need to take the helmet off for you to see
World
it.
Championships, he's top 5 and 6. That's awesome.
You talked to him after the first 2 heats when he was in 3rd place. He said, I don't know what to say. I've got no words for you. There he is, the leader with 5 to go. Can he take a medal? He may need some help. Time to make the big decisions. Time for the serious money. It's time to go win some medals. And Yoon Jong-won of Korea could be on the verge of something very, very momentous in terms of men's bobsledding.
Watch out for a mistake here at the start. I'm sure his coaches said, go for it at the start. Give us better than a 5:16. You got to have a better start to have a chance to win a medal. 5:18. Dude, he didn't improve his start.
Look at the speed though, 63 kilometers an hour. That's as good as the Latvians who lead, who started a little faster.
A little drift though might cost him.
Well, after the first day, when he was in 4th position, he had done what he needed to do, prove that he can do it.
This is unbelievable. So if you want to think about the Olympics coming up in Korea, put this guy down as a favorite to win a medal. The Koreans have meticulously approached the sport of bobsledding like they do golf. And these guys are good athletes.
99.8, a whisker slower than Ugi Salims. Still a couple of hundreds in it.
Late there.
133 he needs.
Holding it.
Oh,
133, good speed, should be enough.
Great speed from the Latvian sleds.
Oh, another 100.
There you go. There you go. That's all they wanted. Hold a top 5 finish.
Best finish ever by a Korean in a bobsled competition. You're looking at some history.
Yes, you are.
Korean Olympic Committee officials on hand.
Well, they've turned from being officials planning the 2018 games into fans right there.
Better put some spectators seating up for these guys.
They're getting those photos. I was there when.
Look at how low he is in the cowling. Look at his head tilt. And watch his head come back to neutral as he exits the curve. And he's real high in the outlet. That's what I thought. But then I thought he gets it. It's just where he got it down to. He's 200s ahead. Then he lost 100 down here. We talk about hundreds.
How many races has he ever done on this track? I'll tell you, this one ever. They came here for a practice week. This is only the 2nd time in his life he's been in Winterberg. There's Malcolm Lloyd, the coach. He's the guy responsible for bringing the speed out of them.
Still got a chance to win a medal.
Oh yeah, everything is up in the air, maybe apart from the gold. What about Beat Hefty? Can he take a 2-man medal as a driver? 2nd fastest start in the first heat, only 11th at the bottom, The weather had a lot to do with his weekend too.
5:13. He should get better than that. 5:13 in the last run. Should be 5:11. 5:11. 5:16. I'm surprised. Maybe the start track's gone up there.
Barely outstarting the Koreans.
62.8.
Good speed, but not as good as the Koreans. 1100s in front. Is this about going up or going down? Is he up a ladder or is he coming down the snakes?
In Sochi, he fell from second to fifth in the second run.
Out of 4 into 5. That will be down. Oh no, he's back up.
He knows this track. He's won the last 3 times he's been on this track in a World Cup. He's won the gold medal. So he has to position himself now. On the bottom part of the track, he's got to have a perfect run to have a chance to win a medal. That's big speed.
Digit speed, the fastest we've seen. He might have to crash it out of the final corner.
Oh, tap, 132, not very good speed though.
He's going to lead, but not by much, maybe not by enough. Almost hangs it in the air off the final corner. The Koreans spend a minute in the leader's box. Bernd Hefti takes the lead away with 3 to go.
I don't know if that'll do it. That was not a championship run out of one of the veterans in the field, Bernd Hefti.
He was only 800ths out of the medals.
1300ths.
Yeah, sorry.
There's out of 4. There's his first mistake. You can't do that. Then down below, this wasn't smooth. A little late. Look at the way the late violent hit there.
That's not the Bernd Hefti of old.
Let's see the spray come up. Watch the direction of the sled as it goes into the finish curve here, going uphill. Look at the back end comes up. That's why he only had 132.8 speed. He should have been up in the mid 133s.
Bernd Hefti leads for Switzerland. Will he be in the medals, or will the Germans and the Latvians crush his hopes? What about this kid? Johannes Lochner from the Stuttgart Bob Club with 20-year-old Joshua Bloom on the brakes. The 24-year-old on the verge of greatness.
Wow. Put your seatbelt on. It's going to get exciting. 5:10 in the last run. 5:12, so the start track did get slower. Boy, he had a really good exit of curve 0, 63.4. That's over a ½ kilometer better velocity than Hefti just had. But Hefti knows the track a little bit better than this young 24-year-old, whose father and mother, we had dinner next to them last night. Stuttgart Bobsled Club, there's a big following here. This would be some medal.
5th and 5th in the 2 runs on the first day. 3rd in his first run today. This is for a medal for Germany and for Johannes Lochner. He's pulled away from Hefti, but the gap comes down. 99.8.
His uncle won a World Championship title in 1991 as a driver. He won the Olympic silver medal in Albertville. And here comes this young
132.5 is enough. He's going to
be
be in front of Hefti by a 10th and in the medals.
Wow.
Okay. The guys from the Stuttgart Solitude Bob Club are no longer going home tonight.
First World Championship appearance. Wow. Remember this kid's name. I think he's emerged.
Yep. Never saw him before this year. Won't forget him after this year. The family have given him 4 years to win an Olympic gold medal.
This was a pretty good start. The lines, look at him dive out of here. He lost some time on the bottom, but boy, for him to beat Bernd Hefti on this track, Hefti won 3 gold medals the 3 previous times in this track, and he had a lot of pressure on him, and the pressure, he didn't falter from this pressure. Great lines. Look at that. Average age 22 right there.
Johannes Lochner, Joshua Bloom, the leaders. 100th of a second faster than that German sled. Was the only non-German sled in the top 3. The World Cup champion, Oskars Melbardis. The 26-year-old Latvian has been all but unbeatable in 2-man this year. And Damen Struiskins behind him. They've won 2-man and 4-man World Cup Crystal Globes. Can they hang on to silver?
Only got 100th of a second on the kid down below.
Now they've got to outstart him to keep that alive. 5:09. It's 500s. 1,400 meters of ice.
63.2. Not as good a velocity though as the German.
3 tenths of a kilometer now
how good
down.
that Bloom kid is. with his entrance into the sled, with his power step. Now it's down to the 100. This is unbelievable.
He's in the red. I can hear the crowd cheering as they watch the big screen, even with headphones on.
You should see the crowd down right in front of us. We can see it.
Huge support here for the Germans, as you would expect. Melbardis in the red. Can he find what he needs? 99.9. That's a fraction quicker. He needs a final corner beyond measure to try and get in front. This could be a tie for silver. Is it going to be Lochner or Melbardis? 1:33 for Melbardis. It is a tie. Johannes Lochner will take at least a silver medal.
Told you about this track in hundreds of seconds. Unbelievable. Still give Melbardis credit for coming back to the bottom.
Yep, he found the speed in the BTC Latvia sled at the bottom, as so many others have.
Look at him, look at him.
Oh my goodness. Well, he won't be pushed down to bronze, but I don't think he's going to get a gold.
World Cup.
Lochner offers his congratulations, but Melbardis looks
relieved. He looks relieved, though. Here in the bottom part of the track, this line.
That's not Melbardis, that's a rookie. Who stole Melbardis?
No, this is a good line. Watch the angle of the sled going to the finish. Remember, maybe not.
That's his evil twin.
That was a mistake into the finish curve.
Oh.
Cost him. Look at the air. Look at that.
Relieved? He's not relieved. He's crushed.
With a silver medal.
Well, look at those flags. Every single one has 2 F words on it. Francesco Friedrich, the world champion. We don't need words. The crowd are going to keep him on his way.
5:08. 100th off the track record at the start. The brakeman is a 7,000-point decathlete. The driver's a former decathlete. The guy who just came down is a decathlete. I'm trying to tell you something.
That is the fastest start of any sled in the entire competition. You think they want this? You think it's a given?
Off the track record last time down. Boy, he's going to win by over a second.
He is on target to break the track record again. He is going away. His speed is higher than on the first run.
He's the youngest world champion ever when he won 2 years ago in St. Moritz. And now it looks like he's going to have 2 world championships.
Don't think the track record is there for the taking, but the gold medal is. He is 9,500. He's a second in front. Francesco Friedrich wins back-to-back world championships. A huge celebration from Torsten Marcus. It's 1-2 for Germany after crushing defeat in the Olympics 12 months ago. Christoph Langen and the men in yellow are back. Torsten Marcus and Francesco Friedrich, the 2015 two-man world champions. He was thrilled after day 1 on Friday. Oh boy, is he excited now. At 22 years old, 2 years ago, he became the youngest ever world champion. And he is now the youngest ever back-to-back world champion. Francesco Friedrich wins in Winterberg, Germany, our home world championships. Not quite as at home as if it had been in Altenburg, his home track, but the boy from Pirna done good. Never headed. Fastest in all 4 runs, and the 4th and final one, he and Torsten Marcus put down the fastest start of the competition to seal victory, going away the sort of margin that Christoph Langen in his pomp used to produce. Have we got another dynasty of German bobsledding on our hands? I believe we may have. Oskars Melbardis, Johannes Lochner tied for silver. Bert Hefty 4th, Yun Jung-won of Korea in 5th, and Ugis Zalims of Latvia, 6th position. Junior world champion Richard Oelsner in 9th ahead of Nico Walter. So all 4 German sleds packing out the top 10 positions. Korea, Latvia and Switzerland. 1 for the Koreans, 2 for the Swiss, 3 sleds for the Latvians in the top 10. Nobody else getting a look in. the traditional powerhouses of the Cold War era, Russia, the USA, locked out of the top 10. And what was a very sad weekend for Russia with the loss of their coach. Alexander Shleglovsky will be much missed in this bobsleigh fraternity. Well, lots of German flags and all the orange jackets down at the bottom. They were coming in alongside me this morning to this track. Lots of noise, lots of excitement, lots of anticipation from the Francesco Friedrich fan club. They've come all the way up from Altenburg in the southeastern corner of the country. And right up to Winterberg here. Well, there's a view of the ski jump and some of the ski pistes on the hills around the town. Lots of snow still down on the ground and turning into quite a decent afternoon now after a bit of a drizzly, gritty, sleety morning. Whatever the weather, though, nothing is going to wipe the smile off the face of Francesco Friedrich or all those fans. All the hats, all the badges on the jackets, the orange coats that so many of them were wearing coming in. Lots of noise and lots of excitement, and rightly so. A German World Championship 1-2 on a German track. It's going to send a lot of fans home happy, and there's the chance as well that Germany might claim a second gold, conceivably even a 1-2 result, because the team competition comes up later this afternoon. 3 p.m. Central European, that's 2 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. 10 teams, each featuring a woman's bobsled, a two-man sled, a male and female skeleton slider. Total time for the 4 disciplines added together to decide the gold, the silver and the bronze medals. I don't think anybody is going to put it as far out of question, though, as Francesco Friedrich did in this two-man World Championships. A resounding victory. The 2015 BMW FIBT two-man bobsleigh world champion is Francesco Friedrich with brakeman Torsten Margis. He defends the title he won 2 years ago from Oskars Melbardis and Johannes Lochner, tied inseparable after 4 runs for the silver medal. Bert Hefty, Yunjun Wang and Oelsner Zalims rounding out the top half dozen, with Germany, Switzerland, Latvia and the single Korean sled in the top 10. Russia, the USA struggling to break in there, and some of their sliders, well, along with the Canadians, didn't even make it into the top 20. Lamandina, Great Britain, finishing in 14th position. Well, our top 3, what a tense few minutes it was at the end of these 2 days and 4 heats of action. Johannes Lochner, Joshua Bloom on the left. On the right-hand side, the joint silver medalist there, the taller figure, Dalmas Triskin, and the very disappointed-looking Oskars Melbardis. And compare and contrast the face of Melbardis as Ivo Ferriani presents the joint silver medalists with their flowers to the face of Francesco Friedrich, the shorter figure in black in the center there. Torsten Margis with a grin as huge as he is. And Francesco Friedrich, wow, he wanted this so badly. As an unexpected world champion 2 years ago, he came here with pressure to defend, and that just served to make him faster and better. And they saved the very best till last. The fastest push, not just from them in this competition, but of anybody in the entire competition. The last sled down the track. And he drove away. 0.74 ahead of Melbardis after 3 heats. He came down 1 second and 600ths faster. A more than 1 second margin of victory is huge in this sport. It's measured in hundreds for a very good reason. We couldn't separate the guys in the silver medal position, but the winner was a full second in front after 4 heats. Unbeaten since the competition started, Francesco Friedrich is the rightful and defending world champion. 24 years old already, a double two-man world champion. Let's get down and hear from our top 3 with John Morgan.
Okay, Team Melbardis, silver medal at the World Championships. I know you won a gold, but it was still the good at second last run.
Yeah, some mistakes, but win the strongest team, and Germans was very strong today and Friday. We are happy about this result and world champion.
Silver medal, celebrate, it's great. Now, over to two very young guys who I don't think you expected to be here, Johannes, in this silver medal at the World Championships.
It's unbelievable. It's such a crazy day. Well, I have no words. I can't believe it.
How did you like your brakeman's push?
Yes, well, it was really great what he does. His work was perfect, and with such good start times, and I have a good run, and so we are here.
What a day. Enjoy the moment. Now, 2 years ago, junior world champion. This year, you won by over 1 second, and you had the fastest start in the last run.
Yeah, it was a very great day. Congrats to these two good guys. They make a very well job, and we are very happy with this result.
It's a very impressive result. Congratulations.
Well, Francesco Friedrich, what a day for him. Defends his two-man bobsleigh world championship, and tears for them silver medalists of delight and disappointment, depending on whether you're Johannes Lochner or Oskars Melbardis. But they will all come back and fight again in the four-man competition next week. Until then, from the two-man, it's goodbye from Winterberg in Germany.